Okay, we're back for the solo. Um, so the intro to the solo basically is that last verse, when you're not around. When you're not around. Now what you want to do is you want to make a partial E major with your ring finger on the 4th string, 2nd fret, D string, 2nd fret, and your middle finger on the G string, 1st fret. And you want to play just the 3 strings, which is the D2, G1, and open B. Okay? Now you're going to hit that at the beginning of this run 3 times. So that's the first time, and you're going to slide up with your pinky, slide up with your first finger to the G string 4th fret, and keep your ring finger on the 4th string all the way up to the 6th fret. And again with that open B. So that first slide is from the partial E major. Then you're going to go back down to that partial E major, hit it again for the second run. This time all the way up to the 9th fret with your pinky and your ring finger on the G string and D string respectively, again with the open B. So I'm going to start from the beginning and do the 2 runs back to back. Now the last one, you're going to go back down to the partial E major, and this time you're going to slide all the way up to an octave of this position, which is going to be the 14th fret D string ring finger and 13th fret G string with your middle finger, which is basically just an octave of this E. So now I'm going to do all 3 back to back, kind of slow. Now from here you can hit that twice, and now slide a half step down on the D string to the 13th fret with your ring finger, and then use your index finger on the G string 11th fret. That's kind of the resolution. And from here you're going to go to basically a B major partial chord, which is ring finger on the 9th fret, middle finger on the 8th fret G string, ring finger D string 9th fret, middle finger G string 8th fret, and first finger B string 7th fret. And that's just a partial B major. So now I'm going to do it all together. Oops. Now from here, what you want to do is, it's that same position that we use in the intro, barring the D, G, and B on the 4th fret, sliding up to the 6th and back down to the 4th. Well, maybe just the 4th and the 3rd string. Don't worry about the B string, just those 2 strings, just like we did in the intro. And then after that, you're just going to hit one note, which is the D sharp, which is the A string on the 6th fret. Okay, so that comes after the. Okay, now comes the actual solo, and what that's going to be is 3 hits on the E string. Here's my little doggy. Okay, down. It's okay. It's okay. The E string on the 12th fret, 3 hits on that, and then you're going to pull off to your first finger on the E string on the 9th fret. So, okay. That's the beginning of the solo. And from there, you're going to bend on the B string from 12 to 14 with your ring finger. And from there, you're going to bend again So it's 2 bends in the exact same position. The first one comes after the 4 hits on the E. And after that second bend, you hit the E12 with your pinky, and then bend back down from 14 to 12 with your ring finger on the B. It's basically on the B string where your hand already was. Now it's B10 to G11. Okay, and now it's a little run starting on the B12 with your ring finger, B12, E9, E12, and then bending from, I do a half step, but you could do a full step. You want to bend to the E15, whatever note that is, G sharp. So I go from G to G sharp. That time I did a whole bend because I started in the wrong place. But usually I start on the G and go. Okay. Now this is the highest note on the solo. It's bending up from I don't even know, 12, 13, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So it's going from 19 to, I guess, 21. A little hard on this acoustic guitar, but you're basically going to do a 2 fret bend. Hear that? And you're going to do that up once and then back down. Just hit it once and bend both ways, so up and down on one pick. And then you're going to do 17 to 16, back and forth twice. So it's and that's 19, 17, 16 on the B string to finish it off. So I'm gonna do it kind of slow. So all together from the top of the solo. So many things. So that's back to the B major. That last note is where they hit the B major chord. So if you're playing by yourself, you just gotta kind of fake it like I did. There's so many things. Now it goes to E major. I've showed her. So it's just B major to E major. And after the first time you do that B major to E major, there's a really pretty run that starts on an A major partial chord. So it's just the top 3 strings, G6, and then barring with your index finger, B and E5, which is basically just the top of the A major chord. But just those 3 strings, and you're going to step from here down to your D position, but 2 frets up from where you normally play D. You're going to come up so your ring finger is on the 5th fret, and you're on the B string, and your index finger is on the 4th of the G, and your middle finger is on the 4th of the E, which is basically just an E chord. So it's 2 frets up from where you normally play D. So it goes A, E. Now you're going to slide up with your ring up to 9 and your first finger to 7. And this is just 2 strings. 9 on B, 7 on E. Slide that down 2 frets. So B7, E5. Now back down to that partial E, but just with 2 fingers. Your middle finger on B5, first finger on E4. Then to that same 2 fret position with your ring finger on B4 and your first finger on E2. That's the end of the run. That's the top of the B major chord. So altogether it's going to sound like this, kind of slow. And with the chords in front of it, I'm going to play it one more time. There's so many things you should have told her, but night after night you're willing to. Now right here you're going to go back up to the C sharp minor 7th, C sharp minor, sorry, forget the 7th, C sharp minor, and just pick, starting on the A string, the A in the fourth fret, just pick straight down to the E note. Sorry, the E string. So listen to this. Okay? There's so many things you should have told her, but night after night you're willing to hold her. Now we're going to go to the F sharp major, just like we did in the chorus. Just hold her. Now we're going to go to A minor, really pretty change. Tears on to up to C, show up to D, to G. So again, starting from that change. But night after night, you're willing to hold her, just hold her. Tears on your shoulder. There's talk on the street. Now it's starting in G, and instead of going A to B major, we're going to be going C to D major. There's talk on the street, it's there to remind you. Now, if you're just playing around a campfire, you can just do that twice, like you do in the first part of the song. But there's actually a little fill that comes in on that second part. So if you've got two guitarists, one can do this. And again. So, but the fill basically goes, there's talk on the street, it's there to remind you. So that fill starts with your your first finger, G string 12, your second finger, middle finger, D string 14, and your ring finger on A string 15. So it makes this little pretty little position. And I'm picking from the G string back down to the A string. Then I'm going to slide everything down to essentially it's a partial D chord. So my ring finger is on G11 and my pinky is on D12 and my ring finger is on A12, and that's going to make a partial D chord. So I'm going from, so my first finger is on G11 and my ring finger is on D12 and my middle finger is on A12. And from there, I'm just going to step it down a half fret twice. So I'm going from D to C, basically. Okay, I'm going to start that from the top. There's talk on the street, it's there to remind you. I kind of didn't hit that quite right. It doesn't really matter which side you're on. Now there's another little guitar riff right here. Normally it's going back to that G. It doesn't really matter which side you're on. So when that G comes in, there's a really pretty riff that starts. Essentially, it's part of the G. If you play it up here on the 10th fret, but you're just going to play the D string. I'm going to bar it with my ring finger, and it's D string, G string and B string in the 12th fret. That basically is a partial G. Those three notes. I'm going to drop that down to a partial D again, with my ring finger still on D12, my middle finger on G11, and my index finger on B10, which again is just a partial part of that D major. So it goes from the G, D, then I'm going to take that down 2 frets to the C, partial C. Again, I'm just playing the D, G, and B strings. Now from here, I'm going to do this kind of little move. So my ring finger is going to go a half step down to the 9th fret on the D string, and my index finger is going to come up to the G string, and my middle finger is going to go up to the B string. So they're going to kind of swap from that C, and it's going back to a G. It's a partial G. So again, it's ring finger on 9, first finger D9, G7, B8. I'm gonna do it all together. And then I'm going to slide up with my middle finger, starting from about, I'm not sure if they start from the 9th fret or the 11th fret, back up to the 12th fret on the D. Okay. And with my ring finger, I'm going to use the B string. Come here. Hey, no barking. So, hey, come. Apologies. So after that little pretty run, whoops, I was just using the wrong fingers, because you're going to want to bend this B from 13 to 15. And you're going to slide up, I think, from the 7th on the D up to 12. And then, again, that's the D string. And you're going to hit the D string in between the B notes. So it's the D12, B13, B12, D12, then the bend on 13 to 15 on the B string. Not a double bend, sorry, just a single bend. You're walking away and I'm talking behind you. Hey, come here. Down. Okay, we're almost done. You're walking away and they're talking behind you. Now one more little sneaky little run, and you're going to want to come up with your ring finger on the G string all the way up to the 12th, 13th, 16th fret on the G, and your middle finger on the E string on the 15th. So it's G16, E6, E15. No. And he does slide up to it. Now you're going to want to muffle that B string so you don't even hear it. It's just those two strings, G and E. Come here. That's the beginning of the run. And from that position, again, just those two strings, G and E, we're going to step down so that now your 2 frets on the G down to the 14, and your pinky is going to go 14 on the E string. So it's then that position down 2 frets to the 12th. Then back to the first position with starting with your ring finger on 11 and your middle finger on 10 on the E. So it's those 4 positions. 1, 2, 3, 4. You're walking away and they're talking behind you. It's actually probably one of the hardest runs in the song because it happens so quick, and the way they do it, they kind of slide into it. So you really have to hit it just right to hit it. You don't have to slide into it. If you can get your fingers up there quick enough, you can just do it. You're walking away and they're talking behind you. There will back to C, never forget you till somebody new come. Now this is a really cool lick here. This is just a wicked lick. So it starts with your middle finger on the B and E string in the 3rd fret. So it's the bottom, it's the top part of the like a G chord, but just those 2 strings. And what you're going to do is you're going to slide up to 5 and back to 3. Okay, so it's 3, 5, 3. Now you're going to do a similar slide, but this time with a partial D position with your first finger on the G2, your middle finger on B3, which is part of the D chord, but you just want to hit the G and the B strings. And this time it's also a slide up 2 frets and back to 1, but it's a slightly different slide. So the first one is kind of a more straightforward 3, 5, 3, 5, 3. This one, listen closely, it kind of goes. So it's a little faster, and it ends with you opening up your index finger to let the G ring with your middle finger on the B3 string. Okay, you got that? From there, you're going to hit open D and then D1, which is kind of a strange note. It's a D sharp. Okay, and this is a partial chord starting with your index finger on D1, and then your your middle finger is going to go to G2, open B, and your ring finger is going to go to E2. So all together it's going to sound like this. It's really the top part of a B7 chord, but again, just starting on the D string. So I'm going to do that whole run once more. Now from there you're going to do this little bass riff where you on the bottom E string you're going to step from G, F sharp, open E. Okay, super simple. And now you're going to play basically an E minor 7th, which is this chord right here. But instead of letting the top E ring, you're going to lay your pinky down across it, so your pinky's touching, your pinky's barring both the B string and the G string in the 3rd fret, with that E on top. Okay. Where you been lately? And on lately, it's an A major suspended. So again, I'm not going to play the bottom 2 strings. I'm just going to start on the D string, and it's going to be middle finger D2, ring finger G2, and pinky on B3, and then open top E. So it starts like this again. Where you been lately? I'm just going to do it without singing. It does this 3 times. There's a new kid in town. That's number 2. This is the 3rd one. Everybody loves him. Now to A minor. And he's holding her, B major, and you're still around, E major, B major, to A major, and that's super simple. So the transition from goes to A minor. He's holding her B major, back to E major, B major to A major. Those little riffs are basically partial chords. Again, it's partial E major, just hitting the B5 with your ring finger and E4 with your middle finger. Sliding down a half step with your ring and putting your first finger on E2. And then sliding your ring finger down 2 and taking off your index finger, so it's just the B2 and the open E. Then back up to that second position. That's the first time they do it. The second time they do it, they kind of go. It's a little more choppy. I mean, you can listen to the song, and it might be reversed the way they do those two, but one of them kind of slides a little bit more than the other. And they do that twice. That's number 1. There's a new kid in town. That's number 2. To A major. This is number 3. Now listen carefully. To A major. But now from here, this is really cool. You bring your pinky up off the B, the B2, and move it to your C bass, which is A 3rd fret. And you take your first finger and you move it to the C note, which is the B1, second string, 1st fret. So going from A major to this really pretty kind of C over A minor. And that's the transition to the final part of the song, which is basically just a riff between E major and C sharp minor. We're basically done. Everybody's talking about the new town. There's a new kid in town. Everybody's walking like a new kid in town. If you listen to it, they're really just hitting it like this. It's a new kid in town. Everybody's talking about the new kid in town. And then towards the end, they do this thing where they basically go from E, A, E, A, E, and then this C sharp minor, they just slide up the G and B up 2 frets. That's it. I hope you guys enjoy. Cheers.